Hey guys, happy New Year's Eve and welcome back to Clues by Sam, the last one of the year, and it is a tricky one. Let's see how this goes today. We can't see the first clue, and if you don't know what Clues by Sam is, it's a daily logic puzzle game where there's 20 people, each of them may be a criminal or an innocent, and you gotta figure that out using the clues that they themselves give you. We are here every day practicing this, and if you want to play as well, there is a link in the description. You can go along with me, or if you get stuck, I can try to explain you my logic. So I'm gonna start right now. Let's go. We start with Tina telling us that Olaf is one of two criminals to the right of Martin. So Martin is here, Olaf is to the right of him, obviously, and he is a criminal, but we also know that there is a second one who's either Noah or Peter, also to the right of Martin. Now, Olaf tells us that Hall and Ruth have no innocent neighbors in common. Hall and Ruth both have two neighbors in common, and none of them are innocent, so we know that both Noah and Martin are criminal, and since Noah is a criminal, we know that Peter is an innocent. Now, we don't need Olaf's clue anymore, and Noah tells us that column A is the only column with exactly 3 criminals. Okay, that doesn't help us much yet, so let's leave that clue there. Peter tells us that both criminals above Vince are connected. Vince is in column A, and there's 2 criminals above him, which means that since there has to be 3 criminals in column A, and Vince is the last one with 2 criminals above him, Vince has to be a criminal as well. And the clue also says that those 2 criminals are connected. So Martin is one of them. The other criminal has to be someone who is connected to Martin, and that makes Anna an innocent. Now, Vince tells us that exactly 2 of the 3 innocents neighboring Kevin are in column D. So Kevin has 2 innocents neighboring him in column D and 3 total. Peter is one of those innocents, which means that either Eve or Lisa are the second one, and Kevin has 1 more innocent neighboring him here. Now, Anna tells us there are exactly 2 innocents above Zara, and we know that those 2 innocents neighbor Kevin, so that makes Uma a criminal. And we don't need Anna's clue anymore. Now, Uma tells us that only one of the 2 innocents neighboring Dave is in row 1. So we know that Dave has 2 innocents neighboring him in row 1. No, 2 innocents neighboring him total, but one of them is in row 1. That may be either Celia or Eve. And if Eve is an innocent, that makes both Lisa and Celia criminals. Okay. What does that make? What? Dave has to have 2 innocent neighbors. So one of them is here, but it could be that both of them are here. If Eve is a criminal, Lisa has to be an innocent, as does Celia. So that will be 2. But if Eve is an innocent, Celia and Lisa are criminals, and that makes it so that either Kevin or Hall have to be innocent. So what do I look at now? Yeah, we know about column D. We know about column A is being the only column with exactly 3 criminals. And column D has 2 criminals already. Uma is the first one. The second one is either going to be Eve or Lisa. So that makes it so that if Zara were to be a criminal as well, column D would have 3 criminals. And that couldn't be because column A is the only one with 3 criminals. So Zara has to be an innocent. Now, Zara tells us that only one of the 6 innocents on the edges is Dave's neighbor. Only one of the 6 innocents on the edge. So there are 6 innocents on the edges total, and one of them is Dave's neighbor. So Dave has 3 neighbors on the edges, but only one of them is an innocent. And we know, like we said before, that Eve has to be an innocent in order for the other ones to be criminals. Because if Eve were a criminal, then Dave would have 2 innocents on the edges, neighboring him. So Eve's for sure an innocent, and Lisa is a criminal, as is Celia. Now, Celia tells us there's an odd number of innocents in row 2. Row 2, we know that Dave, this is tricky. We know that Dave has 2 innocent neighbors, right? There's a clue saying that. 2 innocents neighboring Dave. So we know that either Hall or Kevin are an innocent and the other one is a criminal. What does that tell us? That row 2 is going to have 1 innocent here for sure. And row 2, according to Celia, has to have an odd number of innocents. So that makes it so that Gus couldn't be an innocent. Otherwise, row 2 would have 2 innocents and that's an even number. So Gus has to be a criminal. And that makes Ruth an innocent. Can't wait for all the crimes we'll solve next year. I can't as well. I'm really liking this. I guess we don't need Celia's clue anymore. Now Gus tells us that Xavier and Dave have an equal number of innocent neighbors. And we know that Dave has 2 innocent neighbors total, so Xavier has to have 2 as well, and he already does. Tina and Zara are both innocent, so that makes all the other neighbors for Xavier criminals. That means Sue and Wanda. And we don't need Gus's clue anymore. Now, no new clues. Now, do I think about the total of innocents on the edges? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 1 more innocent on the edge. Let's do some tagging here. If Hall were to be an innocent, that will make Kevin a criminal. Now Kevin has both his, Kevin has his 3 innocent neighbors. There's a clue telling us that Kevin has 3 innocent neighbors total. Looks like 2 of the 3 innocent neighbors, yeah. Which means that Dave will be a criminal. Dave also has his 2 innocent neighbors total. How many innocents could we have on the edges with that configuration? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's our total. Xavier would have to be an innocent. What if it were the opposite? What if Hall were a criminal? Now Kevin would have to be an innocent, and Dave has his 2 innocent neighbors, but Kevin would still need 1. So that would make Dave an innocent. And that would make Xavier a criminal. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What am I missing? Oh, is it about the 3 people? Column C couldn't have 3 criminals? Were there 3 criminals here before? If Hall were an innocent? Let's try again. If Hall were an innocent, Kevin would be a criminal. And that would make Dave an innocent. Because Kevin, Dave is also a criminal because Kevin already has his 3 innocents. And that will make Xavier an innocent because we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 innocents on the edges, and now there's 3 criminals in column C. So Hall couldn't be an innocent. That's it. Yeah. Nice. Now Dave has his 2, but Kevin still needs 1 more, so that makes Dave an innocent. And that makes Xavier a criminal, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dave is a criminal as well. almost got the last one wrong. Okay, that was the last one of the year in less than 10 minutes. I'm pretty happy with that, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you played it as well as the last one, last treat for the end of the year, and I hope you have a great New Year's Eve with everybody you love. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you next year. Bye bye.